Hey, good morning. As you can see on my workbench, I have a Beehive. I just bought two from a guy that owns Bonacqua Springs Apiary and Woodenware here in Middle Tennessee. He's also into the National Association of Beekeepers and has really helped me out a lot. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm just starting out with my first hive, and these are my first commercial ones that I've got. They're 8-frame medium supers, which aren't really standard. A lot of people get 10 frames, but Mr. Qualls there told me that bees naturally like to make 8 frames of honey in a super, and I didn't want the deep ones because they get awful heavy, and I try to keep stuff as simple as possible. But I've got 4 boxes there, a hive stand and lid. And then over here I have all my disassembled frames and feeders and stuff that I have to work on. And then you see parts to my other one. And what we're doing in order to make sure these things last a long time is we're prepping them by sealing all the end grain and all the staple and nail holes with some silicone caulk. We're using a brand called White Lightning, which is pretty inexpensive. A tube was like $1 or something. And apparently when it dries, it's not, the smell isn't offensive to bees. So we're going to caulk all the holes, and then we're going to paint it with some white latex enamel. So I'm going to show you how we caulk up the end grain and stuff. We'll let it dry, and then we'll come back and do some painting, and then we'll set it up and let you see what it's going to look like, where we're going to put them. Okay, here's the caulk. It's just all-purpose adhesive caulk from White Lightning, and I just put it in the caulking gun. Squeeze a little bit out on my finger and kind of dab it into the nail holes, and then run it a bead down the end grain so moisture doesn't get in there and rot my hive. That way I get more than a couple years out of them. Now I'm trying really hard to make sure that none of this gets on the inside of my hive box, because I want it to be just natural wood. Really, this isn't very hard, but since I've got 8 boxes and 2 each of everything else, it's a little time consuming, but not so bad. A lot less time consuming than the work I had to put in to earn the money to get it, and I sure don't want to have to do that twice unless I've got to. So we're just going to repeat that on all 4 sides, and then on the other 3 boxes, and then we'll just stack them up to dry. And tomorrow, because I don't want to paint it with wet caulk, tomorrow we're going to come in and paint them. Now we're doing this now because my bees are due in March, and I want this plenty of time to dry, and any off-gassing that these the paints and silicones are going to do when they cure, I want all that done before I get the actual bees. So if you're planning on starting a beehive, apparently it's not all that hard. I've signed up for some classes and read a couple books, but mostly I signed up for an organization, go to the meetings and pick the brains of all the people who've been doing this for years, and I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. But if you're going to do it this season, you need to go ahead and order all your equipment, because there's going to probably be a shortage, and you want to make sure you get it in now instead of wait till March when it's time to start actually working. So in follow-up videos, we're going to paint it, or we're going to paint it today, but in follow-up videos we're going to show how to make some beetle traps and where to site this stuff, talk about feeders. So basically, as I'm learning this stuff, I'm going to make a video just for kind of document all my trial and error here. And hopefully, come the end of the season, we'll be able to document me eating a whole bunch of honey. So we'll see. So we'll come back in the morning. Okay, here's my hives after silicone sealing the end grain and all the staples, nails, holes, and then giving it one coat of exterior grade latex. Probably going to come back and do a second coat, but for now it'll just show you. I want you to see that we didn't paint anything on the inside. Right? Want to make sure that the bees don't have that paint or they won't stay. We also got a couple of feeders. You just take a mason jar with some sugar and put on there, and we'll show you that once we start doing it. A top board, a top cover. We get down to the bottom. I bought a screened bottom board from him. In the wintertime, you just put this corrugated plastic in there to keep the warmth in. In the summertime, you pull it out and any kind of bugs and garbage and stuff will just fall through the screens. And then we got a hive stand just because it looks pretty. And I also got some introducers and about 50 frames that we're going to have to start putting together. But we'll start putting the frames together, and then we'll show you how that works too. So it's pretty simple, and we'll come back once we get all this stuff working and show you some beetle traps that he showed me how to do, and kind of just follow this from start to finish. So like I said, I'm no expert. I'm learning for all of this, and so there's plenty of ways of doing it, and my way may not be right, actually. And if not, I'll come back and tell you what my problems are. But I think this is a pretty neat hobby, and hopefully I'll get some honey out of it. So till next time, you can always catch us on the blog, www.tngun.com.